Hello there, this is video 57 of the Psyche Nomad. I am Eunice Pavlov, and I'm here to bring you some resilience, to build some resilience. As I was, going through the themes to work on for this video, the word that came up was neck, and the image that immediately came in my mind was, someone putting their foot on the neck, on our neck. That calls into submission. Have you ever felt that you were being held down? People trying to submit you into something, into a lower position, into a lower way of being, into your lower self. Because it's not supposed for us to be, held down by the neck. That's highly humiliating. And then I was thinking, how would I address that? And then I remembered social conditioning, which may be a form of putting a foot on your neck, but in other ways, to submit you into something. Let me say that I got nothing against social rules. Society is good, gives you a sense of belonging, must have rules so people can, function all together in the same place or in the same habitat. Nothing against that. But where I see a problem is when people don't let you grow into whatever you want to grow into, flourish, because they simply want to submit you. And going back a little, social conditioning normally uses three forms. They all fall into three categories, which might be working on your self-image, and which means working on your self-image, your self-esteem, and trying to undermine, minimize, attack your self-esteem, or working on yourself, on your limiting beliefs, so consolidating some limiting beliefs so they can kind of build a wall, or a barrier, which you're not supposed to cross over, or working on your fears that works as the same way as the limiting beliefs. And as I was going, thinking about that, it just came to my mind that experience that was done I believe it was in the 60s, I'm not sure, the Pavlov's dogs, which he created, inducted the dogs to salivate at the ring of a bell. And probably that's, I don't know, I'm not a neuroscientist, but that experience probably was the first, or one of the first, that gave birth to dopamine triggers. Because the dogs were trained, to use the bell, and he used the bell, and then he put some meat, and the dogs, and put some meat, and the dogs would smell the meat and would come eat or something like that. And then at a certain point, he started just ringing the bell without the meat, and the dogs would start salivating, over salivating. That was induction. That was conditioning. He conditioned the dogs to create saliva as they believed they were going to eat meat. And that was conditioning. And another form of conditioning that then crossed my mind, another example that was given, it was an elephant that he grew chained, and he grew chained. So the chain only had a certain, amount of length, and he couldn't go farther than that amount of length of the chain. So when they released the chain, the elephant still couldn't cross over that circle because it was a mental conditioning that he got. So when going back to that neck thing, sometimes we have that foot on our neck. It's not a literal foot on the neck. It's a conditioned foot on the neck. It's a learned behavior that through a limiting beliefs, through a conditioned fear, that doesn't allow us to, cross that line, go beyond that circle, that makes us salivate because it's conditioned. In that case, is to stay on that box, to stay in that circle, and the other way around. So how many of your limiting beliefs, or of your fears, or of the images you have about yourself are not conditionings, are not Pavlov dogs experiences, are not the elephant unchained that couldn't cross over that perimeter. You gotta question yourself that, because sometimes you just want to grow, and you want to grow beyond those limits, and you find it very hard to cross over those limits that are not even real, because they are just inputs are mental mental chains, are mental barriers that were created throughout our conditioned growing as we were growing. This is one of those videos that I'm triggering you to think about that. I have my own struggles, of course. Definitely, or I wouldn't think about this. Do I have answers for you? No. This is one of those videos again that I only have questions, don't have answers. So I challenge you to think, what is that perimeter? If you are the elephant, what is that perimeter that you feel that you can cross over because you believe that you are still chained and you are not chained anymore? I challenge you to think, what is that bell that rings that makes you go run to that makes you salivate more than usual, that puts you in a conditioned behavior, that makes your body react believing that it's going to eat that meat just because the bell was rang. I'm challenging you to think of all the situations that you are behaving like a Pavlov dog, just as I am every time I'm triggered to smoke a cigarette. Just as I am every time I'm triggered to self-sabotage me, because I do that. Yeah, I do that. What is that social conditioning that is chaining you? Either is through belief, a limiting belief that doesn't allow you to grow, is through a fear that is not real, or through a false or biased image of yourself that does not correspond to reality, but it was inputted. I challenge you to think.